The first time I felt it, I thought I was losing my mind. My coffee mug jittered across the oak dining table, a slow, deliberate dance with no one touching it. I froze, spoon halfway to my mouth, cereal dripping milk onto my lap. My golden retriever, Luna, lifted her head from her sprawl by the window, ears twitching like radar dishes. "Did you feel that?" I asked her, half expecting an answer. She stared back, brown eyes wide, then let out a low, uncertain woof. It was mid-October, a crisp Tuesday morning in 2025, and I've been levying in my Cedar Grove home for 12 years. This was my sanctuary, a two-story Craftsman with a wraparound porch and a sprawling backyard where Luna chased squirrels and I grew tomatoes every summer. I'd scraped together every penny for a decade to buy this place, a dream carved out of late nights at the office and skip vacations. So when the weirdness started, I wasn't about to let it slide. For weeks, the shakings had been waking me up, subtle at first, like a distant truck rumbling down the highway. Picture frames tilted on the walls. My vintage chandelier swayed like a pendulum in storm. I'd chalked it up to minor earthquakes, even though Cedar Grove, a quiet suburb 30 miles outside the city, wasn't exactly on a fault line. But that morning, with my coffee doing the tango, I knew something was off. Really off. I called my neighbor, Pete Callahan, a burly guy with a beard like a lumberjack and a knack for fixing anything. He was watering his roses when I jogged over, still in my pajamas. "Pete, you ever feel your house shake lately?" I asked, trying to sound casual. He squinted at me over his hose. "Shake? Nah, man. Old pipes, maybe. These houses creak and groan sometimes. Mine's 30 years old, makes noises like it's got arthritis." "Mine's only 12 years old," I countered. "And it's not creaking. It's vibrating. Like something's moving underneath." Pete chuckled, spraying a rose bush. "Underneath? What, you think moles are throwing a rave down there? Check your foundation. Newer houses settle too." I forced a laugh, but his dismissal gnawed at me. That night, the shaking hit harder. At 2:17 a.m., my bedside lamp toppled off the nightstand with a crash, jolting me awake. Luna barked furiously, pacing the room. I stumbled downstairs in the dark, heart pounding, and pressed my ear to the hardwood floor. There was a deep, rhythmic hum, like machinery churning below. Not pipes, not settling. Something alive. By morning, I was a wreck, bags under my eyes, coffee in hand, and a growing suspicion that my dream home was hiding a nightmare. I called the Cedar Grove Homeowners Association president, Vivian Hartwell, a woman with a voice like silk and a smile that could cut glass. "Vivian, something's wrong under my house," I said, pacing my kitchen. "It's shaking, cracking walls. I need someone to check it out." Her tone was syrupy, dismissive. "Oh, Ben, you're imagining things. Houses make noises. Have you checked your basement? Maybe it's a water heater issue." "My house is 12 years old. Not some crumbling relic," I snapped. "And it's not random, it's scheduled. Every night, same time, like clockwork." A pause. Then, "Well, the HOA doesn't handle personal property quirks. Hire a plumber. Or a shrink." She hung up before I could argue. I stewed all day, replaying her words. That evening, as I walked Luna around the block, I spotted VY in silver BMW creeping past my house. She slowed, her window half down, phone aimed at my yard like she was snapping photos. Then she peeled out, tires squealing. My gut twisted. She knew something. The next morning, I found a hairline crack snaking up my levying room, wall fresh, jagged, undeniable. That was it. I called a pro Jake Torres, a geologist I'd found online with 35 years of experience and a no-nonsense VYB. He showed up that afternoon, a wiry guy in a flannel shirt, hauling equipment that looked like it belonged in a sci-fi movie. "Feel anything weird lately?" he asked, setting up a seismic monitor in my backyard. "Every damn night," I said. "Shaking, rumbling. Stuff's breaking." Jake nodded, eyes on his gear. After an hour of scanning, he whistled low. "Ben, I've seen a lot of my time, but this? Something big's moving under your property. Not natural man-made. Heavy machinery, regular intervals. Too shallow for city subways. My stomach dropped. Like what? A sewer line gone rogue. He shook his head. No way. This is deliberate. Vehicle, movement big vehicles. I'd bet my truck on it. I paid him double to come back the next day with ground-penetrating radar. The images he showed me stopped my heart. A perfectly cylindrical tunnel, 20 feet wide, running straight under my backyard. Freshly built, professionally engineered, stretching beyond my property lines in both directions. Jake's voice dropped to a hush. This is serious money, Ben. Medial. Someone's playing a dangerous game under your house. I call my buddy Nate Russo, a real estate lawyer with a sharp mind and a sharper tongue. He came over that night, poring over the scans with a glass of bourbon in hand. Holy hell, Ben, he said, grinning like a kid on Christmas. They can't just build under you. You own this land surface to the core of the earth, legally speaking. Whoever did this is screwed. Whoever? I said. It's got to be the HOA. Vivian's been acting cagey as hell. Nate's grin widened. Then we've got a gold mine. Let's dig literally. That weekend, I rented a backhoe and tore into my backyard with Pete's help. 6 feet down, we hit it smooth, curved concrete, cold to the touch. A tunnel big enough for a freaking train. Pete's jaw dropped. Who the hell builds this under a suburb? Good question, I muttered, brushing dirt off a small steel hatch embedded in the concrete. Etched into it was the Cedar Grove HOA logo, a stylized tree inside a circle. My blood ran cold. Vivian. My phone rang, shattering the silence. Vivian's voice was ice. Ben, what are you doing? Excavation needs HOA approval. Fill that hole now. I stared at the logo, fury bubbling up. Funny you'd call Vivian. Want to explain the train tunnel under my house? The one with your HOA's stamp on it. A beat of silence. Then that's city infrastructure. Nothing to do with us. Bullshit, I snapped. I'm looking at your logo right now. Why are you spying on my yard if it's not your problem? Her tone shifted calm, calculated. There's an emergency HOA meeting tomorrow night. Fill that hole and show up if you've got concerns. This isn't a game, Ben. She hung up. Pete and I uncovered more of the hatch that night. It was locked, but the rumbling came again at 11:45 p.m. louder, clearer. I knelt by the hatch, ear pressed to the metal, and heard it, the unmistakable whine of a train on tracks. My HOA had built a secret railway under my property. No permission, no notice, no nothing. And Vivian was covering it up. The meeting that changed everything. The Cedar Grove Community Center was packed the next night, 50 neighbors crammed into folding chairs, whispering like a hive of bees. Vivian sat at the head table, gavel in hand, her platinum hair gleaming under the fluorescent lights. Her assistant, Claire Monroe, hovered nearby, clipboard clutched like a shield. I slipped into the back row, Jake's scans and my property deed in a leather satchel. Vivian tapped her mic, her smile a razor's edge. Thank you for coming on short notice. We're here to address a homeowner's reckless behavior, or Mr. Ben Carver has been digging up his yard without approval, endangering community safety. The room turned to me, eyes narrowing. I stood, voice steady. Safety? That's rich, Vivian. How about the secret train tunnel you built under my house without my permission? Chaos erupted, shouts, gasps, chairs scraping. Vivian banged her gavel. Order. This is a misunderstanding. Mr. Carver's claims are baseless. Baseless. I held up the scans, passing them to Pete to circulate. These show a tunnel under my property, new, professional, with your HOA logo on it. Explain that. Claire jumped in, voice shrill. It's a community enhancement. A shuttle to the mall downtown for everyone's benefit. On my land, I shot back, while VYing my deed. Without my knowledge or consent. Where's the vote? The notice? Vivian smile faltered. An oversight. We assumed easement rights covered it. Show me the easement in my deed, I said. Show me where I signed off on train tracks under my kitchen. The room went quiet. A gray-haired woman, Mrs. Delaney, raised her hand. I don't recall voting on any tunnel. Where'd the money come from? Vivian smoothed her blazer. Details were confidential for security. All proper procedures were followed. Then show us the permits, I said. The environmental studies. The homeowner notices. Her eyes flashed. This meeting is about your unauthorized digging, not HOA operations. Unauthorized. Pete stood, red-faced. I was at the clubhouse last month. Overheard Vivian talking about premium tunnel passes do law $600 a month for elite access. That true. The crowd exploded again. Vivian slammed her gavel. This meeting is adjourned. She stormed out, Claire scurrying behind. Pete caught me outside. Watch your back, Ben. Claire was snapping pics of your house this morning. They're up to something. That night, my doorbell rang at 10 p.m. A slick guy in a pinstripe suit stood there, folder in hand. Mr. Carver? I'm Greg Lansing, HOA attorney. I've got papers for you to sign acknowledgement of infrastructure rights and an NDA. I didn't take the folder. Vivian send you. She said you'd cooperate, he replied, smile tight. Sign, and this stays quiet. Not happening, I said. See you in court. His smile vanished. The HOA is calling a special session about your violations. Fine started due, law 150, a retroactive. Think it over. He left the folder on my porch and walked off. I called Nate. They're hitting me with fines now. Intimidation, he said. Bring everything to my office tomorrow, deed, scans, bylaws. They're panicking. Morning brought a shock. A violation notice plastered on my door 20 citations, from unapproved fence paint to excessive dog barking. Luna's a saint, she barely barks. Then my car wouldn't start. The mechanic found sugar in the gas tank. Someone sabotaged it, he said. On purpose. In my mailbox, an unmarked envelope held a note. Back off or lose it all. My hand shook as I drove a rental to Nate's office. A gray sedan followed me, keeping distance but mirroring every turn. I pulled into Nate's lot. It cruised past, Claire at the wheel. They're desperate, Nate said, eyeing the note. But they screwed up. County records show no underground rights filed for your property. You own that tunnel, Ben. The HOA didn't let up. By week's end, I had 40 violation in mail absurd stuff like unpermitted birdhouse height. Patrol cars circled my block nightly, sirens blaring just long enough to wake me. My garden was trashed tomato plants uprooted, soil strewn across the lawn. My security cam? Smashed. Pete stopped by pale. Vivian's unhinged. Told everyone at her cocktail party, you're a troublemaker. Said not to talk to you. Why is this tunnel worth all this? I asked. He hesitated. Money. Big money. She's selling private access keys, due law $20,000 for a personal entrance, due law $30,000 for parking at the mall station. That's why her garage has a new Porsche. Nate called that afternoon. Stop fighting the small stuff. We're going big. They built on your land illegally. You owned that tunnel. We're filing for ownership tomorrow. I hit the county office that evening, filing Nate's paperwork. The clerk blinked at the scans. This is wild. I'll rush it. Vivian called minutes later, voice venomous. You're digging your own grave, Ben. We can ruin you. Like trash in my garden? I shot back. I know about the misappropriated funds, Vivian. Your company's getting tunnel contracts. It's over. Silence. Then a whisper. What do you want? Meet me tomorrow. HOA office, 9 a.m., I said, hanging up. Vivian wore a crimson dress to our meeting, flanked by Claire and 3 board cronies. I brought Nate and a court reporter. This is outrageous, Vivian snapped. HOA matters are private. Not when you build on my land, I said, sliding over the ownership filing. The counties recognize my claim. I want to law $6 million easement rights, damages, compensation, or I shut the tunnel down tomorrow. Vivian Bolangjet, $6 million? That's blackmail. No, Nate said coolly. It's law. You built without rights. He owns it. Vivian leaned forward, voice low. We'll triple your fees. Fine you daily. Force you out. I pointed to the reporter. All recorded. And the city inspector's curious about your unpermitted tunnel. Her mask slipped. 1 week, I said, standing. Or I seal it and press charges. As we left, Vivian hissed to Claire. dig up dirt on him. Everyone's got skeletons. That afternoon, a crane roared into my yard workers digging a utility repair hole right over the tunnel hatch. The paperwork? Forged with my signature. I called the cops. They shrugged. Civil matter. By evening, a news crew ambushed me. Mr. Carver, are you extorting your HOA for millions? The reporter waved a press release via VY and spin, painting me as the VY lane. Neighbors turned cold. Greedy was spray painted on my garage. Only Pete texted support. They're lying. Hold on. Nate called the next day. The repair crew? Hired by VY and cousin's firm. No city permits. And get Thish been buying land at the tunnel's exit. She's planning a retail empire once it opens. Then a bombshell. A woman from the City Transit Authority, MS. Elena Ortiz, showed up. Mr. Carver, Director Patel wants to meet. This tunnel's built to city specs like it was meant for us. The folder she handed me confirmed it. Plans for a citywide transit line. My tunnel, the missing link. VY had built it to flip to the city for millions. At Patel's office, he offered Dulon $9 million for the tunnel rights. We need it, he said. VY pitched it to us, but she didn't own do. She's in deep trouble now. That night, VY showed up, desperate. Dulon $7 million, cash, today. Sign, and it's done. Too late, I said. City's got it for Dulon $9 million. And they're investigating you. Her face crumpled. They'll take it any eminent domain. Maybe, I said. But they'll bury you for fraud first. The next HOA meeting was chaos. I walked in with Nate, Pete, and cops. The city owns the tunnel now, I announced, dropping Darren's USB of VY and crime emails, threats, all of it. She and Claire were cuffed as the room cheered. 6 months later, the Carver connector ran beneath my yard, and I'd banked Dulot $10 million after damages. VY got 8 years. The HOA got reform. I stayed in my home, started a fund for HOA VY Tims, and smiled every time the train rumbled below. Sometimes, the ground you stand on is worth more than you ever dreamed. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.